Hey guys, it's Omer from MMOs.com. I'm doing another quick weekly news recap of all major MMO news and announcements the week ending May 8th, 2017. This is episode number 94 of the recap, and the first bit of news this week is from Black Desert Online, and it's a bit of a big one. The game is launching on Steam on May 24th, and this should open up the game to a massive new audience, but more importantly, we'll see how many concurrent users play the game through Steam, which should be quite interesting. Existing BDO players will not be able to migrate their account to Steam, so anyone who plays in the Steam version will be entirely new users. Still, it should be interesting to see just how many people end up playing the game on Steam. I do recommend checking the game out if you've never played it. It's well worth the price. Up next, also on May 24th, Kritika Online's North American closed beta is set to begin. Founders Packs are also on sale right now. Kritika Online is an action MMORPG similar to games like DFO and Vindictus, with instance dungeons and persistent hubs. It's being published by In-Mass Entertainment, the folks best known for Tera. The closed beta is set to run from May 24th to June 13th, and those who buy a Founders Pack get guaranteed access. But you can also sign up for free access just by signing up on the website, but then you have to get lucky to get into the beta. And those who really want to check the game out right now can do so on the Southeast Asian version of Kritika through PlayPark, but expect high pings. And speaking of In-Mass, Tera is celebrating its 5th anniversary with new content. Yes, it's been a cool 5 years since Tera first launched on May 1st, 2012. All players who log in during the month of May will receive a special free pair of 5th anniversary wings, which are exclusive to this event and will never be made available in the cash shop. So make sure to get your wings just by logging in. The Velik's Fate update is also set to go live sometime later this month, on May 9th actually, which is tomorrow, which will add 2 new high-level dungeons to the game. Also, in related Tera news, In-Mass is taking a pretty hardline stance against any and all third-party plugins / add-ons, so no more damage meters or anything else. Use of these programs are now considered bannable offenses, and this has led to a pretty big backlash by some people within the Tera community, as many third-party add-ons weren't really, cheats or anything like that. They were simply quality of life improvements. So just a heads up for you guys though, do not use third-party add-ons. You will risk getting your account banned. Next up, Asher Creation got fully funded on Kickstarter in less than 12 hours and actually hit multiple stretch goals already. The game has raised over 1.4 million as of this video and will likely reach quite a bit more by the time their campaign ends. I shared my thoughts about the game in last week's podcast, so if you missed it, make sure to check it out. By the time the campaign actually ends, I suspect they'll raise a bit over 2 million, but that's just my guess. I'm really hoping Asher Creation does come out, but I still remain a bit skeptical. But regardless, I'll keep my eyes on this one. And moving right along, also on the new games front, Legends of Aria Alpha 2 is pushed back to May 12th. Remember, Legends of Aria is just Shards Online, but with a new name. The reason behind the delay, according to developers, is to allow time for some final changes and tweaks. The MMOs.com crew actually ended up checking this game out for a Sunday Funday back when it was called Shards Online, and it's certainly a bit interesting. They have a pretty cool premise behind it. Some of the leads of Ultima Online have worked on the game, so if you did like old school Ultima Online, Legends of Aria may be worth checking out for you. They're aiming for a Steam release as well sometime this year. Up next, something I forgot to mention last week, Final Fantasy XIV Stormblood released their benchmark test to see how well the expansion runs on people's PCs. The expansion is still set to launch on June 20th, 2017, and with it will come the Red Mage and Samurai jobs, but more importantly, the game's max level will increase for every class up to level 70, and there'll be a ton of new content for players to explore. If you never played FF14, give the game a try. It's free to play until level 35, which is pretty cool because it's actually an unlimited free trial. You can check out all of the game's classes pretty much. Up next, on the old MMORPG front, Update 19 Part 1 is now live for Dekaron. Yes, Dekaron is still alive and well. It used to be available through Nexon EU until June, and then they transferred the service over to Vertigo Games, and they're still running it. Before that, it was actually called 2 Moons and was available through Acclaim. And despite being over 12 years old, the game is still getting updated. Update 19 adds a new dungeon, rebalanced classes, new costume closets, expanded chat systems, and much more. It's a big update for an older game. Also in the older game news, but not that old, Darkfall Rise of Agon is officially launched. It's a remake of the original Darkfall game and a slight competitor to Darkfall New Dawn. Unlike New Dawn though, Darkfall Rise of Agon aims to retain the game's original mechanics and boasts a seamless open world, skill-based action combat, free loot open PvP, city building, and much more. The game does have a subscription of $10 a month, and while I suspect the game won't attract too many new users, fans of the old school hardcore experience, and Darkfall will definitely support the game. If you look for a hardcore open world PvP game, Darkfall is definitely your game. Next up, thanks to a recently implemented law in China, companies are now legally required to publish their loot box probabilities and drop rates, which has led to Overwatch China releasing probability parameters for all of their loot boxes. Epic items are found once every 5.5 boxes, legendary items are 1 every 13.5 boxes, or about 7.4%. Going forward, we'll likely see more drop rates from other games, including gachas and various mobile games, as well as other PC MMORPGs. I think the transparency is good, and I hope to see more drop rates from pretty much every game be public. That would be ideal. Right now, too many Western companies will be rushing to release this information unless they're legally required to. Up next, Hyperuniverse's alpha test ran from May 5th to May 7th. It was the first alpha test for Nexon's side-scrolling MOBA, and it shows that the company is still taking the Western market seriously. Unfortunately, it was under NDA, so I didn't get to do a video for it, but I'm looking forward to checking it out when it fully launches in the West sometime later this year. The fact that Nexon is still bringing their games over from Korea shows me that there's still hope for MapleStory 2. There's still no news directly on MapleStory 2, but Hyperuniverse making progress is indirectly good news for MapleStory 2 in my book. The cool thing about Hyperuniverse 2 is it's actually different. It doesn't play just like any other MOBA. The fact that it's 2D definitely adds some unique flair to it. We read along some industry news from Activision Blizzard. The company reported an all-time high in corporate profits, which was $426 million for the last 3 months. I mean, who would have guessed that Blizzard was this good at making money? Besides everyone, obviously. CEO Bobby Kotick attributed the strong quarter to the success of Overwatch, which now has over 30 million players worldwide. Blizzard as a whole hit 41 million monthly active users, up a whopping 58% year over year. Hearthstone continues to make bank as well, hitting an all-time daily high of daily active users since the launch of the Ungoro update. World of Warcraft's cash shop sales were also a strong point in the quarter, so Blizzard is making tons of money, in case you didn't already know. Up next, Steam, the necromancer of old dead MMORPGs, is at it again with 2 older titles seeking to launch on their platform. This time it's DK Online and Mixmasters Online. And every time I hear DK Online, I can't help but think Donkey Kong Online. But DK's original full name was The Legend of Dragon Knights. It was available on Aria Games for a mere 3 months before it shut down. Mixmasters is an even older game, but has also made its way onto Steam Greenlight. And I don't think either of these 2 games will do particularly well on Steam, but I'd still like to see them get on there since it makes it downloading and playing it super convenient. And I'm sure there's at least one super hardcore DK Online fan out there, or Mixmasters fan. Moving right along, Skyforge PS4 is set to receive its first expansion on May 16th, dubbed The Risen Exiles, which will introduce quite a bit of new content to the game, namely the new Monk, Necromancer, and Witch classes, as well as several new dungeons, 10v10 PvP battles, and much more. Expect a steady stream of content updates for Skyforge PS4 going forward, as the game seems to be doing fairly well on console already. Next up, a small bit of news for Creativerse, the free-to-play Minecraft-like sandbox game. Creativerse officially left early access and is officially launched as of today. It's been in early access since August 12, 2014, originally as a buy-to-play game, but it went free-to-play in 2015. So it's been in early access for about 3 years now, which isn't too bad, but still, 3 years is a long time. If you've never played Creativerse, it's actually well worth checking out. It's an extremely polished sandbox game that averages over 2,000 players online at any given time, which is quite solid. And speaking of long-ass alpha periods, DayZ is transitioning to beta after being labeled as an alpha title since December of 2013. That's almost 4 years in alpha testing. The main changes in beta release seem to be additional optimization and tweaks for the game. It is remarkable how long this game has been sitting in alpha, but here's to hoping the game won't sit in beta for another 4 years, and hopefully it'll get a full release within our lifetimes. But still, DayZ is making progress. Next up, some unfortunate news for GunZ 2. All but one server for the game is set to close on May 10th. Prior to this, the game had 6 servers running, which is absolutely unnecessary given the game's tiny player base. Steam chart shows an average Steam current player base of about 57 people in the last 30 days. And the way things are going, I expect that one server may be shut down as well in the near future. What's crazy is that instead of just running GunZ 2, if they just relaunched GunZ 1 on Steam, it'll do much better. Not that much better, but there are private servers already for GunZ 1 that have hundreds of players. I think 350 players is the average concurrent number for the biggest private server for GunZ. So they're keeping GunZ 2 afloat with 50 players, but GunZ on private servers are doing much better. Just relaunch GunZ 1 on Steam, and I think a lot of people would check it out. And while GunZ 2 isn't awful, I did enjoy playing it. It didn't have the same pizzazz as the original GunZ. Next up, Shadowverse celebrates 9 million downloads with, you guessed it, more free card packs. Anyone who logs into Shadowverse is getting 9 free card packs to celebrate the milestone. In addition, 3 more chapters are being added to the game's main storyline, and anyone who plays the game for 5 days in between now and May 25th will receive a special card sleeve. I love all these freebies that Shadowverse gives, and I think it's one of the main reasons for the game's success. It's actually the second highest revenue generating CCG after Hearthstone, although it's a distant second. So all that free shit they're giving is certainly working. If you never played it and you enjoyed games like Hearthstone, I say give it a try. It's basically Hearthstone with waifus. Next up, a bit of big news from MapleStory that I forgot to mention last week. MapleStory version 1.85 officially launched on April 27th, and with it comes the ReZero series of events, as well as the Meso market, the first time players can convert Mesos into cash shop currency, and vice versa. So Nexon is going the same route as Blade and Soul, Neverwinter, and a few other games that have that whole cash shop to in-game currency conversion. I imagine they're doing it to fight gold sellers themselves. For the event itself, there are actually hairstyles in the game that match Rem Ram, Emilia, and all the characters from ReZero. There's a lot of other fun stuff as well, so check out MapleStory. The next and last bit of news this week is some MMORPG consolidation. Age of Wulin is set to be absorbed into Snail Games on July 11th, 2017. Age of Wulin will be rechristened as Age of Wushu, and if you didn't know, Age of Wulin was always the same exact game as Age of Wushu, but it was the EU version of the game, and it was published separately by Webzen. I have no idea why they fragmented the player base into two different regions, but the combination should be a net positive for user experience. Players who play on Age of Wulin have until July 4th to get their characters transferred over to the new version, and check out the official website for information on how to do so. Anyway guys, that's it for MMO News this week. I'll see you guys tomorrow for the podcast. Later guys.